Welcome to Science Circle once again. Hope you all are well and fine. In my previous video, we have learned about the structure of the flower. We came to know in details about the four holes of the plant, that is sepal, petal, stamen and pistil. Today, we will be discussing about pollination. So what is pollination? Pollination is the transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma. We will discuss also about the kinds of pollination. Pollination are of three types, that is autogamy, Xenogamy and Allogamy. Autogamy, what is it? Transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of the same flower. Xenogamy is the transfer of the pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of another flower of the same plant. But allogamy, the pollens of one flower of another plant of the same species when fall on the stigma is known as allogamy. It is also called as xenogamy. The transfer will occur with the help of different agents as like wind, insect or any other way. This is also considered as a cross-pollination. What do you think? A stigma of a flower will receive a variety of pollens of different plants. Do all survive? No. The stigma of a flower of any one particular plant receives pollens of its own species as well as that of others. But nature has designed flower in such a manner that only the pollens of the same species of the plant will survive and grow further to continue the process of reproduction, and the pollen of the rest of the types will fail to germinate and perish. Now we will be seeing when does a self-pollination occur or when a cross-pollination. First we will be discussing about when does a self-pollination occur. So the first point we have to remember is about the bisexuality of a flower. That is, self-pollination can occur only in the bisexual flowers, that is, those who are having both male and female organs. Same wise, homogamy. To ensure self-pollination, it is necessary that the anther and the stigma of a flower must mature at the same time. Cleistogamy is a phenomenon where plants show self-pollination. The word Cleistogamy means closed marriage. The flowers which show Cleistogamy are known as Cleistogamous flower, as we see in the grass family as like peas, peanuts, pansy, etc. Here the flowers are closed and non-showy and their reproductive organs remains closed within the flower. So they do not need any pollinators for the pollination. They produce seeds in the adverse and unfavorable conditions also. But nature favors more of cross-pollination. A vast majority of the flowering plants are cross-pollinated. Some of the various conditions which favors the cross-pollination are as unisexuality, when a flower may have either a male or a female and they are born on separate plants. Cross-pollination is the only possibility there, as we can see in palm and papaya. Same like dichogamy. The timing of maturation of a stamen and pistil or androecium and gynoecium are different. In some plants, the anther of a flower mature earlier than the stigma, which we say as protoandry, which generally occurs in the lady's finger, sweet pea, sunflower, etc. In some cases, the stigma of the flower matures earlier than the anthers, which we say as protogyny. Protos means first and gyne means female, as we see in the apple or a peepal tree. So in these cases, cross-pollination is the only possibility for reproduction. Third point is about the self-sterility. It is a condition that even if the stigma receives the pollen from the anthers of the same flower, the pollens fail to undergo further growth, and in such cases only the pollens from the other plants of the same species which can complete the process of forming the seeds. It occurs in the different types of orchids or in the ray florets of the sunflower. Herkogamy. This is another method in which some flowers, the pollens of a flower cannot reach the stigma of the same flower, as a hood-like covering is present as a mechanical barrier, and as a result the pollens are not able to reach to the stigma, which we see in iris or pansy. Heterostyly, in which the flowers, the stigma and the anthers grow at different heights. So as a result, it is not helping in self-pollination, and only possibility is the cross-pollination, which we see in the primrose or oxalis. So hope you have understood the reasons of cross-pollination, that is unisexuality, dichogamy, self-sterility, Herkogamy and heterostyly. These are the general reasons for the cross-pollination. Now we will be studying about the agents of cross-pollination. Here we will be seeing that both biotic and abiotic factors can be responsible for cross-pollination. If the flowers are large and brightly colored and which is emitting lot of scent and producing nectar, which is the food for the insects, it will be pollinated generally by the insect, which we say as Anemophilous. Again, if we see that is the flowers are small and not brightly colored, and they are not able to give out the proper scent for the attracting the insects, but yes, there is also the way of pollination that is done by the wind, because here the anthers are large and loosely attached to the filaments, and little bit slightly wind also can move them. The pollens are produced in very large quantities, and they are light and dry and smooth. They are having a feathery and hangout structures. So this type of pollination is known as Anemophilous, which is done by wind. Again comes if the pollens are produced in large numbers and in the plants are grown in water, that is they are the only way is the water pollination, that is Hydrophilous. So here we will be seeing that the pollens are having a specific gravity almost equal to the water, so that they remain floating below the surface of water. In some cases the male flowers are such that they float on the surface of the water until they meet the female flower. In Vallisneria, we will be seeing that the male flowers are in such a condition that remain floating on the surface of the water till they meet the female flower. So, other than that, we will be also having pollination done by birds, which we say as Ornithophily and Elephophily. That is pollination which is facilitated by elephants. This we generally see in Rafflesia, whose flowers are very large and they are found at the ground level, and the pollen grains of one flower get stuck to the feet of the elephants that can be carried to the stigma of the another flower when the flower gets trampled by its feet. There are other agents also used in cross-pollination, as like ants, bats, snails, bees, moths, etc. These are named according to the type of agent for the pollination. Check the chart to get the names of the types of pollination which we are done with the different types of agents. Pollination can be practiced by human itself. These days, artificial pollination is a standard practice adopted by the plant breeders and scientists in their efforts to evolve the new varieties. They actually remove the anthers in the young flowers, which we say as emasculation, and cover these flowers with a plastic bags, which we say bagging. Later they pollinate such flowers with the pollens from the plants of the desired variety, so they can produce the young offsprings of their choice, which is more in use, and the process name is as artificial pollination. As we are discussing about self-pollination and cross-pollination, both are having advantage as well as disadvantage. So let's have a look of the advantage and disadvantage of first self-pollination. The major advantage of self-pollination is that the race purity is preserved and the pollen grains are not wasted. But new variety of plant is not being created here, which is the major disadvantage of a self-pollination. Next comes the cross-pollination. Here in cross-pollination, the major advantage is that a new variety has been created as a result of cross-pollination, and the seeds which are produced are more significant quantities and are more viable. But there is a disadvantage in cross pollination, is that the pollen grains are being wasted in more significant quantities. Because of distance barrier, pollination may fail in many cases. Cross pollination has the potential to introduce undesirable traits for a plant. The entire chapter of self-pollination and cross-pollination is explained, so hope you will be able to write the difference between the self and cross-pollination. For your convenience, a chart has been provided for the writing the difference between them. There are a lot of difference between Entomophily and Anemophily, as you have seen earlier. So here is a chart given to you for your convenience. You go through it so that it will be easy for you to remember. Thank you for watching my video. Hope you liked it. If you are having any query related to the topic, please write in the comment section so that I can give a clear idea about the query where you are having. If you want any special topic where Science Circle will make video for you, please write it in the comment section. If you think this video is helpful to you, please don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you and have a nice day.